Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by, should we say, Cruiserweight Pro? Still talking prospect now? It's Mr. John Hedges. How are we doing, sir?
Oh, well, thank you, Josh. Yeah, happy to be on, mate. Yeah, all going well, Josh. Training's going well and things like that. And yeah, still a prospect, but we're pushing on the titles now, so we're getting there.
Yeah, first big title shot coming up in just over 2 weeks' time down at the Copper Box against Lewis Oakford. I mean, Southern Area title on the line. These are big steps for yourself moving up to these sort of titles at this point in your career.
Yeah, definitely. And like, I've not walked into, you see, with the Southern Area, you sometimes see in the history of it that people haven't had to box the best of opponents to win that title. But by fighting Lewis, I'm fighting a high level opponent. It's a good fight, man, because both undefeated. Someone's always got to go. It's a bit exciting, and I'm still young. Do you know what I mean? So to get a first title shot like this, it's yeah, it's big. It's huge for me.
Does it feel a little bit different to your past tests? Someone who's undefeated, someone who's going to be going out there to win the title. Does it feel that little bit different?
Do you know what? I've fought undefeated fighters before. So I fought in my fifth fight. I had a 3-0. My last fight was 25-20. I've fought some good winning records in the way, but I think this one here, the only sense of is he's had a couple of decent wins over good opposition. So it's like he's proved that he can mix it at a higher level. So look, it's one of them ones. I know I turn up with the better opposition, so the better that's put in front of me, the better I'll be myself. It's only made me train harder. And yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. I expect him to bring the heat, and that should get me cooking, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Since the step up to cruiserweight, and I think it was long awaited, you obviously had that time out of the ring as well. How has that changed things for yourself? How are you able to approach a fight and a camp differently?
Do you know what? I was just kidding myself with the light heavyweights, if I'm honest with you, because I never made championship weight ever. So it was always like one of them ones. I knew it was never going to happen, but I feel like as a cruiser, I still lose a lot of weight. So it's not like I'm a fat cruiser in the sense of I just work up to it. I walk about at over 100 kilos, so I still strip down and I feel so much stronger. I'm in the gym with heavyweights and I don't look out of place. So I know cruiserweights where I need to be, and I'm a big cruiser. And even Tony Bellew, my last fight, he was like, "There's still so much room for me to grow where I've still got a lot of developing, but I'm still a massive cruiserweight already."
Yeah, at the moment, cruiserweight is where you feel comfortable. Do you think eventually, years down the line, you'll end up at heavyweight?
Look, potentially that's where the money's at. So I think if I naturally develop to a heavyweight, it's going to be a no-brainer. I'm gonna want them fights, but at the minute, my eyes are set on making a name for myself in the cruiserweight division.
I know Mark and the team were out in the US, and you were obviously joining the band for that one. What was the experience like for yourself out there, getting a bit of work done there? And I guess the sort of community and the vibes a little bit different out there to what it is back home.
Do you know what? Texas was unbelievable. The whole experience, like I had genuinely thought when I was going out there, because I was still quite a way away off a fight date and things like this. I thought, oh, do you know what? It's gonna be able to do a bit of training and enjoy it. There was no enjoyment. We were strictly grafting. And Mark's face, he loved every minute of it. We was through pain, blood, sweat, tears, a lot. But in the long run, it was probably the best camp I could have had because I had 2 weeks sparring heavyweights who were strong as like you can imagine. You know the American style; they don't stop coming forward. And to be honest with you, I was fighting undefeated fighters most days in their heat, what I was not used to, and winning every spar. So it was a proper. We called it a turning point for us because like it was a great bit of confidence down there. Usually you'd walk into an American gym and think, "Oh, we're up against it here. Heavy, they're heavier, they're stronger, this and that." But really, we turned up and we boxed really well over there. So the whole experience was unreal. I didn't want to come home, if I'm honest with you, because it's like you realise they're not as what's the word? Not influenced when they haven't got as much. Do you know what I mean? They're over
Yeah,
there. They're fighting because they've got to fight. They're not earning great money, and you can really tell that in the gym. There's no egos. Everyone's in there killers. And Oshok State, is it Shock Foster, world
yeah,
champion? He
yeah.
was. That's it, Oshak Foster. So he was in there at the same time, and it was nice to be around them sort of fighters. It was yeah, it was real good vibes.
Yeah, good stuff. And obviously Johnny's got a big fight coming up on the same card as yourself down at the Copper Box, headlining the Matchroom card against Alen
Yep.
Babic. So we know over the years he's put in some great performances, and we know the sort of style he's going to bring. We know the style that Johnny's going to bring as well. How excited are you to see Johnny really step up in a performance there?
the same as I say about myself. I think the higher we step up, the better we're going to fight, and that's the. It just gives you more incentive in training, the sparring side of the training side, because you know you've got a tougher fight. So I think you're going to see the best of us both. And I genuinely like. I've boxed on 4 of Alan's cards. I've got all the posters in the shed. I was looking. I've been on his card 4 times, which is mental. But I genuinely believe Johnny gets him out there before 6.
Do you think the size and the power is going to be a vital thing that Johnny needs to use in that fight?
Yeah, definitely. Like, in my opinion, Johnny's bigger, he's stronger, and he's quick. People don't rate his speed as much as they probably should. For a big man, he can move his hands. So I think if someone, look, the way I look at it, they're gonna meet in the middle. Alan's not gonna try and outbox him. If a 15-stone fighter is fighting an 18-stone fighter, there's only one way the person can win, in my opinion. So if it was like he was going to take a bit of a different tactic, bit Usyk, stand on the back foot, pick a move, I'd say a bit different. But I know Alan's going to meet him in the middle, and I think that's where Johnny would want anyone. And that's what I believe will happen. It's a great fight for the fans, though.
Absolutely, absolutely. Busy time in the cruiserweight division, your division, of course. Over the weekend, there were 2 big fights on the boxer card down at Crystal Palace. We'll start with the chief support in Jack Massey and Isaac Chamberlain. I think most people had Chamberlain as a slight favourite going into that one, but Massey got the job done. Did you see it, and what did you make of it?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. This sounds a bit like, oh, I know it all, but I genuinely thought Massey beat Chamberlain. I think Massey's very underrated in the sense that he's strong and he's very game. And even in the Joseph fight, he took it with kind of knowing that he's not always beat Isaac, if I'm honest with you. I think Isaac's a great fighter. I'm not taking that away from him, but I just think Jack's ability, his pedigree is a bit higher. And I think Jack could be world level. Like, obviously, he's won the IBO, but I do think he can be up there with the likes of Billam-Smith. I think that's a great fight, Massey versus Billam-Smith, and they run it back from the amateur days. So yeah, it's great fight.
Yeah, he's really underappreciated. I think probably Jack Massey, you'd have to say. Main event: Chris Billam-Smith and Richard Riakporhe. Obviously, undoing the loss from earlier in his career. Chris Billam-Smith, really impressive performance and dominant. Really, I mean, he only lost maybe 2 or 3 rounds. Most people seem to think anyway.
Yeah, it was a lot more one-sided than I believed it was going to be. I thought Riakporhe was going to trouble him a lot more than what he did, and I felt like Chris done very well of stopping Riakporhe from letting his shots go. He closed distance very well. He stayed very compact and tight. Tactically, fair play to Shane McGuigan as well, because that was a great tactical performance from Chris, and he diffused the powerhouse and got the winning fashion. So yeah, that was a very good result for Chris Billam-Smith there, and he's just proving people wrong every day, because no one thought he was going to win a world title. He's won the world title. He's now defended it to another great fighter. So he's done very well for himself, Chris. He's definitely changed his life.
How much do you think those tactics and the approach has changed everything for Chris Billam-Smith? Because he's not the most flashy, he's not the biggest puncher in the world, but if you get that sort of thing spot on, you can get these wins.
Look, Chris is a big, strong man, and I think that's where people sometimes they forget. They think you need to have this show, this class, this show, and all this. And I rely a lot on myself, my flair. But I think you've got to realise, when you've got a strong man in front of you who you can't hurt, who's walking you down, who's staying tight, you're creating traps, he's falling into the traps, and you still can't make him pay. That is so threatening, and it's kind of like the Breeder style, if you think about it. He imitated a lot of what Breedis done when Breedis was in his prime. So I think Chris he's just proved that he's going to be a great cruiserweight, and he's going to be around for a lot longer.
Do you think he's the best cruiserweight in the world at the moment?
I'm a massive Jai Opetaia fan. It's how I like to box. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a nice slick southpaw counter puncher boxing move. So I'm a massive fan of his, if I'm honest. But after that performance, Chris is well up there. But I'd put Opetaia as my number 1, Chris as my number 2.
I know a lot of the talk is CBS against Zodo Ramirez, but if that was to be made, Billam-Smith against Opetaia, how would you see it going?
I think Billam-Smith beats Ramirez, but I'd love to back the Brit. But truthfully, just because I love Opetaia's style, I think Opetaia beats Billam-Smith.
Fair enough. Couple more little bits of business before I let you go. some sort of rumbles and some stories around that Usyk may step back down to Bridgerweight or even Cruiserweight. Bridgerweight, the option would obviously be Lawrence Okolie, who has the title. Opetaia would probably be the #1 option in the Cruiserweight division. Do you see that as a possibility, and how do you think it would go?
To be honest with you, I don't see the point of it. If I'm honest, like from Usyk's style, because look, in the heavyweight division, that's where the money's at. That's where he's earning he's real talking points. So I think if you've just had a performance like that to Tyson Fury, there's no reason for you to want to drop down. However, I can understand for the reason of winning the world titles and being like an Evander Holyfield, going through the weight divisions and picking up world titles. But yeah, personally, I think he beats Okolie. It'd be a massive shock if Okolie beat him. But yeah, I think he'd comfortably beat Okolie. And I think he beats Opetaia as well, if I'm honest with you. Usyk is another level. But like I say, I don't see the need. He's now finally building himself as a heavyweight. And it takes a while. It takes a while to put that weight on naturally. So I think now, even that Fury fight, he wouldn't be at his heavyweight best. So I think he's still progressing as a heavyweight. And I think that's where he should stay.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And the final bit, a big piece of boxing news we saw last week, which was Tyson Fury. The video posted on Twitter of him walking out of a pub, seemingly intoxicated, seemingly drunk. I mean, as a boxing fan, and I'm sure somebody who's a Tyson Fury fan, aren't we all as boxing fans here in the UK? Is it difficult to see at all, or?
Joe, I'm a massive Fury fan. He's been like my role model since a baby. He's like the reason I got into boxing, if I'm honest with you. And it's one of them ones. Look, everyone's had a drink. I'm not saying we've all been in them states, but it's just the public eyes on him. Really, it's horrible that it's been filmed, that it's got out there, because now your mind plays games. We've seen how low Fury's been before. Is he going back to that stage and things like that? But at the end of the day, he's entitled to his privacy, and he's sitting on massive money at the minute. He's had a great fight against Usyk. He's enjoying himself, which he's deadly entitled to. But I did see another video of him back in the gym. So please God, that was just a blowout, and that's the end of that. But it's just a shame that if he is going to get in that state, he's in public. Why don't he just do it at home? I don't know why, but it's one of them ones. He's entitled for a drink, but yeah, he might have had. Well, he definitely had a few too many, didn't
he? Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. Appreciate your time, John. Really, really appreciate it. And best of luck when the fight date rolls around in a couple of weeks.
Cheers, Josh.